Hello and welcome to CET 4884 Security Methods and Practice. In this session, we will address cryptography tools. In the last session, we started our discussion about cryptography and encryption and how encryption provides sophisticated approach to security. Many security-related tools use embedded encryption technologies. As we stated before, encryption converts a message into a form that is unreadable by the unauthorized users. Many tools are available and can be classified as symmetric and or asymmetric. Each have advantages and special capabilities. Strength of encryption tool is dependent on the key size, um, but even more dependent on good management practices. Management has to understand that cryptography is used to secure most aspects of internet and web uses that require encryption, drawing on extensive set of protocols and tools designed for the purpose of cryptosystem, which are subject to attack in many ways. Cryptographic tools should have the ability to conceal the contents of sensitive messages and should be able to verify the contents of the message and the identities of their senders. Those capabilities are important for everyday use of our computing system and applications. Public key infrastructure, or what we call PKI, is an integrated system of software encryption methodologies, protocols, and legal agreements and third-party services that enables users to communicate securely. The PKI systems are based on public key cryptosystems and include digital certificates and certificate authorities. The public key infrastructure protects information assets in several ways. Through authentication, which can be defined as digital certificates in a PKI system that permits parties to validate the identity of other parties in an internet transaction. The integrity, which is a digital certificate which demonstrates that the content signed by the certificate has not been altered while being moved from one server to the server to the client. Privacy can be defined as digital certificates that keep information from being intercepted during transmission over the internet. Authorization can be defined as a digital certificates that are issued in a PKI environment and can be replaced or can replace user IDs and passwords, which will enhance security and reduce some of the overhead required for authorization processes and controlling access privileges. Non-repudiation or repudiation can be defined as digital certificates that can validate actions, making it less likely that customers or partners can later repudiate a digitally signed transaction. To protect the transmitted information, the public key infrastructure integrates a certificate authority, which is an entity that issues digital certificates. The digital certificate certifies ownership of a public key. Actually, digital certificates are verifiable small data files that contain identity credential to help websites, people, and devices represent their authentic online identity. Then we have a registration authority, which is an authority in a network that verifies user requests for a digital certificate and tell the certificate authority CA to issue it. And then we have certificate directories, and those are directories on the server and the local computer that hold issued certificates uh, that's been um, issued or that's been already given to users. Management protocols are protocols for managing devices on IP networks such as routers, switches, servers, workstations, printers, and many other devices. Policies and procedures, those are the policies that state what are um, the different actors of public key infrastructure, their roles, their duties. The procedures state the step by step process for issuing a certificate application, the renewal, the modification, and revocation of the certificate. An interesting thing happens when the asymmetric process is reserved. That is, the private key is used to encrypt a short message. The public key can be used to decrypt it, and the fact that the message was sent by the organization that owns the private key cannot be disapproved. This is known as the non repudiation, um, which is the foundation of digital signatures. Digital signatures are encrypted messages that are independently verified by a central facility registry as authentic. As alluded to earlier, a digital certificate is an electronic document similar to a digital signature attached to a file, certifying that this file is from the organization it claims to be, and from what it has. It's not being modified from the originating format. It does not change. It was not changed, or it was not altered. A certificate authority is an agency that manages the issuance of certificates and servers or service as the uh, electronic notary public to verify their worth and integrity. This figure shows an example of digital certificate, which is, actually, if you search on your computer for certificates, you can find some of them that's stored on your machine, and you can see the same information that we see here. This figure shows the structure of the certificate. In practice, asymmetric key encryption is not widely used except in the area of certificates. Instead, it's more often used in conjunction with symmetric key encryption or creating a hybrid system. The current process is based on the Diffie-Hellman key exchange method, which is a way to exchange private keys without exposure to any third parties using public key encryption. With this method, asymmetric encryption is used as a method to exchange symmetric keys so that two organizations can conduct quick, efficient, secure communication based on symmetric encryption. Diffie-Hellman provided the foundation for subsequent developments in public key encryption. This figure shows an example of hybrid encryption using symmetric and asymmetric encryptions. Steganography is a process of hiding information and has been in use for a long time. The word steganography is derived from the Greek word steganos and steganos, meaning covered, and of course graphen, meaning to write. The most popular modern version of steganography involves hiding information within files that appear to contain digital pictures or other images. Most computer graphics standards use a combination of three color values, red, blue, and green, to represent a picture element or pixel. Each of the three colors values usually requires an 8-bit code for the color's intensity. Example, the zeros for no red and all ones for maximum red. This inability to perceive a difference on the part of humans provides the steganographer with 1 bit per color. or 3 bits per pixel, to use the encoding data into an image file. Some applications are capable of hiding messages in PMP, WAV, MP3, and AU files, as well as um, unused storage space on CDs and DVDs. For additional information, you can watch the video provided about steganography. With the increased number of threats on the internet protocols are not enough to secure communications. Actually, many of the software packages currently used to protect the confidentiality of information are not true cryptosystems. For additional security, cryptographic protocols could be added to certain applications. Over the years, solutions were provided to protect communication through the web. Secure Hypertext Transfer Protocol is an encrypted solution to the unsecured version of the HTTP. It provides an alternative to the aforementioned protocols and can provide secure e-commerce transaction as well as encrypted web pages for secure data transfer over the web using a number of different algorithms. Secure Shell provides security over remote access connections using tunneling. It provides authentication services between a client and a server. IP security or IPSec is the cryptographic authentication and encryption product of the IETF's IP protocol security working group, defined in the RFC 1825, 1826, and 1827. The IPSec is used to create virtual private networks and is an open framework for security development within the TCP/IP family of protocol standards. Many solutions were also developed to secure the email. A number of encryption cryptosystems have been adapted in an attempt to inject some degree of security into email or a notoriously unsecured medium. The secure MIME or MIME builds on the multipurpose internet mail extensions encoding format by adding encryption and authentication through digital signatures based on public key cryptosystems. Privacy enhanced mail, which is PEM, was proposed by the Internet Engineering Task Force as a standard to function with the public key cryptosystems. The PEM uses 3DS symmetric key encryption and the RSA for key exchange or key exchanges and digital signatures. Pretty Good Privacy or PGP was developed by Phil Zimmerman and uses the IDEA or IDEA cipher, a 28-bit symmetric key to block encryption algorithm with 64-bit blocks for message encoding. IDEA performs 8 rounds on 16-bit subblocks using algebraic calculations. BGP also uses RSA for symmetric key exchange and for digital signatures. Just as PGP, PEM, and the secured MIME work to secure email operations, a number of related protocols work to secure web browsers, especially at electronic commerce sites. Among these are secure electronic transactions, SET, secure socket layer, which is SSL, and secure hypertext transfer protocol or SHTTP, secure shell SSH2, and IP security IPSec. The Secure Electronic Transactions set was developed by MasterCard and Visa in 1997 to provide protection from electronic payment fraud. SET uses DES to encrypt credit card information transfers and RSA for key exchange. SET provides the security for both internet-based credit card transactions and credit card swipe system in retail stores. Secure Socket Layer was developed by Netscape in 1994 to provide security in online electronic commerce transactions. It uses a number of algorithms but mainly relies on RSA for key transfer and IDEA DS or 3DS for encrypted symmetric key based data transfer. For wireless network communications, the early attempt to provide security was through Wired Equivalent Privacy or WEP, which is 8002.11 network protocol. To resolve the issue and shortcomings of WEP, a new protocol was developed. It was called Wi-Fi Protected Access or WPA, and there is a WPA 2. The next generation wireless protocols or what's called Robust Secure Networks RSN use Advanced Encryption Standard or AES, which has five modes of operation such as counter mode encapsulation and offset codebook encapsulation. Another way of communicating between devices is Bluetooth, which can be exploited by anyone within approximately 30 feet range, unless suitable security controls are implemented. IPSec combines several different systems, including the Diffie-Hellman key exchange for deriving key material between peers on a public network, public key cryptography for signing the Diffie-Hellman exchanges to guarantee the identity of the two parties, bulk encryption algorithms such as DES for encryption or for encrypting the data, and digital certificates signed by a certificate authority to act as digital ID cards. IPSec includes the IP security protocol itself, which defines the information to add to an IP packet um, as uh, as well as how to encrypt the packet data. The Internet Key Exchange, which uses asymmetric based key exchange and negotiates the security associations. And this is what we said that the IPSec uses several different crypto systems. This figure shows the IPSec headers that you will see if you were to explore the IPSec protocol and the content of it. The Pretty Good Privacy (PGP) is a hybrid crypto system originally designed in 1991 by Phil Zimmermann. PGP combined some of the best available cryptographic algorithms to become the open source de facto standard for encryption and authentication of email and file storage applications. Both freeware and low cost commercial versions of PGP are available for a wide variety of platforms. The PGP security solution provides six services: authentication by digital signatures, message encryption, compression, email compatibility, segmentation, and key management. Historically, attempts to gain unauthorized access to secure communications have used brute force attacks. Ciphertext attacks involve a hacker searching for a common text structure, wording, or syntax in the encrypted message that can enable him or her to calculate the number of each type of letter used in the message. Frequency analysis can be used along with published frequency of occurrence patterns of various languages and can allow an experienced hacker or attacker to crack almost any code quickly if the individual has a large enough sample of the encoded text. To protect against this, modern algorithms attempt to remove the repetitive and predictable sequence of characters from the ciphertext. Occasionally, an attacker uh, may obtain uh, duplicate texts, one in ciphertext and one in plain text, which enable the individual to reserve or reverse engineer the encryption algorithm in a known plain text attack scheme. Alternatively, an attacker may conduct a selected plaintext attack by sending the potential victim to a specific text that uh, they are sure the victim will forward on to others. Some of the attacks that might happen, the first one is a man in the middle attack, which is designed to intercept the transmission of a public key or even to insert a non-key structure in a place of the requested public key. From the perspective of the victims of such attacks, their encrypted communication appears to be occurring normally, but in fact, the attacker is receiving each encrypted message and decoding it and then encrypting and sending it to the originally intended recipient. Establishment of a public key with digital signatures can prevent the traditional man in the middle attack, as the attacker cannot duplicate the signature. The correlation attacks are a collection of brute force methods that attempt to reduce or deduce statistical relationships between the structure of the unknown key and the ciphertext that is the output of the crypto system. Differential and linear crypto analysis, both of which are advanced methods of breaking codes, have been used to mount successful attacks on block cipher encryptions such as DES. The only defense against this kind of attack is the selection of strong crypto systems that have stood the test of time. Through key management and strict adherence to the best practices of cryptography and the frequency of changing keys. The dictionary attack, in the dictionary attack, the attacker encrypts every word in a dictionary using the same crypto system as used by the target. Dictionary attacks can be successful when the ciphertext consists of relatively few characters, as for example, files that contain encrypted usernames and passwords. After a match is located, the attacker has essentially identified a potential valid password for the system under attack. In a timing attack, the attacker eavesdrops during the victim's session and uses statistical analysis of the user's typing patterns and enter keystroke timings to discern sensitive session information. While timing analysis may not directly result in the decryption of sensitive data, it can be used to gain information about the encryption key and perhaps the crypto system in use. Once the attacker has successfully broken an encryption, he or she may launch a reply attack, usually a reply attack, which is an attempt to resubmit a recording of the deciphered authentication to gain entry into a secure system. No matter how sophisticated encryption and crypto systems have become, however, they have retained the same flaw that the first systems contained thousands of years ago. If you discover the key, you can determine the message. Thus, key management is not so much the management of technology, but rather the management of people. To train people, to provide policies, rules, and to develop the culture of security, information security within the organization will be the key to protect the company and the assets of the company from external attack. That will be all for this session. If you have any questions, you can email it, or you can email me or call me, or use any other communication channel. Thank you and have a great day.